There, welcome to Concept Hunter. Today we're going to take a look at letters from Secret Santa, and as you can see, these are the dates leading up to Christmas. This is a platformer that does something very, very nicely. We've seen it before a couple of episodes ago, actually, but having actual letters, actual words, text as the platforms, and how the interplay between these words, the story, and the actual platforming is combined here, and how these things are intertwined so well. This game does it wonderfully. So let's just get started with November 28th. And this is a Unity game, by the way, and there's no mute button. There should be a mute button. So arrow keys are WASD to move around. I'm going to try my best to read, but I'm not going to read absolutely everything. Gobble gobble, by now you're probably finishing off your Thanksgiving turkey and getting ready for Santa to arrive very soon. Now don't jump for joy just yet, and we get press jump or right shift in order to jump. Space is kind of obvious, right shift is kind of weird. My question, as always, is why not to the up arrow key? Now I have to use two hands in order to play with one on space and one on the arrow keys instead of just one for up arrow in order to jump. Now note, this is the first instance, and we're going to have a lot of them, where the mechanics and the story are combined, because here, jump for joy, and we clearly, the first place where you jump, and you also see that the text itself is kind of up and down. This is a wonderful way of doing that, and transferring to the player that thing of, you need to jump here, you know, and now jumping is a thing. Don't jump for joy just yet, it also connects to the story. We still have one more month to go. Aw, I had a chance to go out shopping. Now, this is a kid reading letters from his Secret Santa, and these letters we'll see a little bit later, talks about how the different cultures around the world actually celebrate Christmas or these times of holidays. And the kid with these tiny little things is responding, or that's his take on what he's reading. Which is a really cute little way, a cute little thing to read on top of what the actual text, the actual story that we're going through. I had a chance to go shopping for your gift today. Yay, presents. And almost drowned in a sea of people looking for the best toys. So be a good little boy and avoid getting into trouble. And here we see again that the story and the mechanics perfectly align together. And clearly there's very direct feedback. It's also on fire and it's red. We know that going into that will kill us. And these are bookmarks that are actually, you know, checkpoints, which makes sense. Bookmarks were on a notebook. We're reading text letters. So while I'm away, and Santa and his reindeers will make a trip. This is kind of a teleporter that is a little disorienting, and I don't think you needed to use it here. I don't love the teleporters. They're disorienting. But other than that, it's fine. To our house soon enough. Now, as I go into this door, tiny little note. Some people love reading everything and not missing anything, not missing a tiny little letter somewhere, okay? Really reading everything. And when I go into this, I immediately am flunked to the next level. If there was another button press, like you finish the level, click in order to move forward, then this will allow people who want to just move forward to just tap and move forward, and people who want to make sure they don't miss anything, read everything, and only then move forward. It's a tiny little thing, but it's something that I wanted to mention. So, December 1st. In Japan, so now we're moving into different cultures. In Japan, Christmas is a romantic time of year. Now note this off switch that is now on after I clicked it, and here is really the place where I want to talk about this. There's a problem with the art style and themes here. I guess it's kind of stickery in the way that it's a letter and there's like stickers that maybe the kid puts on, but it's not exactly that. It kind of feels like every element is taken differently. The player itself is like the sticker. The bookmark is, I don't know, a sprite. This on switch is very different. Each and everything is a different aesthetic, and it's so obvious. It's so in your face. I wish it was more in a specific theme. And I know it's a little bit hard when you have just text for the most part, but still, there is a way to find a coherent theme, at least in some elements. Here, every element is so different that it struck me as odd, and I almost never say anything about art and aesthetic, but in this case, yeah, it's just obvious. So, it's a romantic time of year, and clearly the bad things are adults are weird. I don't like girls, because it's a kid. Time of year for couples like your mom and I. So the Secret Santa is his dad. You're not supposed to... Secret. You're not supposed to say that. I'll let that slide. Very much like Valentine's Day. They exchange gifts and go out to eat. You'd be surprised by how popular chickens are this time of year. They're everywhere, just like the States. Japan also celebrates the time leading up to Christmas. We're growing up with a huge shopping extravaganza. And it's kind of like, it's a surprise, so it's huge shopping extravaganza. That's a good use of the teleporter, though I still don't love those. The trees and skyscrapers are covered in lights and advertisements, and should you find your way into a certain district in Tokyo, you'll see an endless array of toys and cartoons, as well as people dressed in costumes, computers, and giant robots. Now I want to pause here for just a second and note that I've been reading throughout this entire time and playing, and both of these things are not amazing on their own. I mean, the text, if you just take the text, it's okay, it's nice text, it talks to you about the different ways, the different things that Christmas is celebrated, and some, you know, I might know some of these and might not know some of them, depending on how familiar I am with Christmas, which isn't much, but whatever. And the platforming is very standard, but because these two things are together, and it's kind of, it doesn't really split my attention, I'm just doing both of them, then the reading is incredibly engaging, and the platforming is just fun because I'm moving along the story. This is wonderful. I think this is probably like the best possible way to teach kids to read, because kids usually have a problem sticking to a body of text, but in this way it's so engaging, and it's engaging for me, and I'm well, not that far off from being a kid, but I'm not a kid anymore, and I'm still reading this and being engaged, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing that is just done so well here. Let's move forward to December 4th and just see a little bit more of the mechanics. Have you thought of what you wanted to ask Santa for yet? And now we have a new mechanic. Note that we have a new mechanic every date or every level, which is great. Progression is wonderful. Left click the mouse to pick up green words. Now this is, I have to pause here. I'm baffled by this input choice. So far, we've had moving with the arrow keys, but not the up or down, and shift in order, and space in order to jump. And now you want me to use the mouse, but I already have at least, I mean, I probably have two hands on the keyboard. You want me to have a third hand for the mouse? Why? Now, there's no aiming. I want you to know the game actually swallowed my mouse. I'm going to go to the desktop and come back by doing this. You saw a glimpse of my desktop. And now I have the mouse again. Note this is not I don't need to aim in this game. It's proximity-based. You see it flashing now? Only now I can press the left mouse button. Why would you choose the left mouse button is completely beyond me. It could be any button, like the bottom arrow. Okay, clearly, you in most cases you want something else, but the bottom arrow, if it was the bottom arrow and the up arrow would be jump, I could still play at this point the entire game with one hand. And right now I need three, which I do not have. So it's just the oddest choice I've seen ever. Aside from that, the mechanic itself of picking up words and putting them down fits perfectly, fits wonderfully, and I'm so happy about it, because this is the thing that we saw a couple of episodes ago. And it makes so much sense for this game, and it's done in such a wonderful way. You know, nothing like the guy I just encountered here in Australia. No, in Austria. And is it named after Austria? After Australia, and I have to click it. They are visited every year. We could named here. I could put it. No, I can't put it over there. I could put it over here. All right, but I have to be very close. Named by a frightening monster named Krampus. He was quite the hairy thing with long horns and fangs, and he chases all the naughty kids around with a stick so he can take them back to his lair. I think he mistook me for one as he chased after me, and it's kind of nice that it's a stream of text and then it's held up at times. Chased after me through town square and dark alleyways. I finally reached the door to my hotel. Unfortunately, the door was locked. Wait a minute, I could take the and from unfortunately the door was locked, it'll become fortunately the door was unlocked. And this is such a wonderful, I think it's like the only instance where it's really done to such a wonderful extent, but my heart is filled with joy that this mechanic is done in such a wonderful way. This is a great way of using this mechanic to change the story as well as the platforming, and how they're so aligned and combined together. It's just, this is awesome. This is totally awesome. I'm glad I made it to the safety. I made it to safety, and considering the alternative, you should be glad that all you get for being naughty is a lump of coal. Now, we're not going to continue here, because I just want to show you one last mechanic before we jump out. I believe it was December 10th, and this makes so much sense. You've been noticing how engaged I've been by tilting my head in order to read stuff, and in this level, I think it's the last mechanic that you get in the game, is actually shifting gravity. For some reason it's with Q and E, so now you need like 4 hands in order to play the game, but let's ignore that. Q and E in order to move around, and it allows me to read even better. So I'm not going to read this, but it allows me to just, well, there I screwed up. It allows me to read through. And it's really cool. Now into space. Yeah, you could just read through and, oh god, that's not the right not the right rotation. But it lends itself so well and makes so much. This mechanic, when I saw this mechanic, I said, wow, this is the mechanic to put in here. If you'd ask me what more mechanics I'd like, it's this one, because it fits so perfectly with the reading and how you've been doing everything so far. So this is Letters from Secret Santa. It's done by Umia Games. A lot of input issues that I really don't know, and I'm scratching my head. Other than that, a wonderful example of how how this mechanic of having platforms as words, story as well as platforming, it's just done very, very well. And I guess a very late happy holidays and Christmas and all that from me to you. Very, very late. Like, we're into January. But, yeah. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.